Jeremy with Banana Hobby, and what we've got for you is something that I have been waiting for such a long time. We were really excited for this one, and you can hint by the theme that you see on me of what it is. But again, this is the unboxing of our 1.6 meter F-16 Fighting Falcon Thunderbird. Check it out here right now. All right, guys, we've got the box open now. This is how the airplane will come. What we're gonna do, like we do in all the videos, I try to do an explanation for it. I try to give you the details, but then we also do a time lapse to get this out of the box and unwrapped, and then we'll talk about the airplane at that point. That way the movie isn't, 30, 40 minutes long. But again, what we're gonna do is we'll talk about this real quick. The airplane is 1.6 scale, which equals 2.6 meters. The wingspan is just under 65 inches, which is 1,640 millimeters. The length is 103 inches. That's pretty awesome, which equals 2,602 millimeters. The weight of this airplane dry is 30 pounds. 14 to 15 kilograms, and that's without fuel. Sorry, just trying to do the numbers. Engine that is recommended is a 160 to 240. I think a 240 is too much, just in my thought. We're running a 220 in our green Aggressor, the Alaskan Aggressor from the 18th Aggressor Squadron. That thing has been friggin' amazing. Awesome airplane. Sounds great, looks great, does everything. But we're going to put a 190 in this airplane. Let's see. It comes with just over a gallon of fuel, so 2,150 milliliters around there, something around there. It comes with a smoke tank that you can add inside of this airplane. This one does not have that, but we're going to add that into the airplane in the final production on there. It's got JP electric gear. It's got thrust vectoring on this airplane, which it doesn't need vectoring, and so I'm going to actually take that out of the airplane, because I'm a real scale guy. But if you guys want to do some flips and over, I guess the word would be stunt the airplane a little bit, you can do that. It has that option in there, but it's not needed on this airplane. It flies so good as a scale jet. I just leave it as a scale jet. But 11 servos, 4 of them are mid-size for like landing gear and stuff like that. But again, this is a U.S. Air Force Thunderbird. Just like the guys down in Nellis Air Force Base. Killer job. We love Thunderbirds, and I cannot wait to show you this. So, without further ado, go to the time lapse. Let's get this baby out of its packaging and show you the red, white, and blue of the U.S. Air Force Thunderbirds. All right, guys, that was the unboxing. Now we're going to go back to time lapse, and then we're going to separate everything out and make sure that it's all nice and clean for you guys. We'll call it the presentation pass. Here's what we got going on. The most amazing looking Thunderbird I have seen in person. Absolutely beautiful. You got panel lines, you got rivets, you got, words cannot express how beautiful this jet is. The gloss, the bird, the blue, the red, white, and blue. But I saved one thing that I did not do in the time lapse for all of you guys to see up in front. I wanted to open the vertical stab with all of you guys here so you guys can see it in real time. The glory of the Thunderbirds, the tail flash. Absolutely beautiful. And here we go. Look at how beautiful that jet is. There you go, guys. For those of you guys served on the Thunderbirds, hopefully this does amazing memories for you guys. So we'll put on some good shows for you. But anyway, there you go, the unboxing of that. Now what we're going to do is we're going to do some quick talk and show you what's going on. So I'm going to move to the other side of the table and we will talk this out. So what we're going to do is we're going to talk about the vertical, the best first on this side. So what we got is you got the whole vertical. The vertical itself, when you buy this airplane, plug and play. It comes with the pre-installed servo within inside. And what it's got is it's got your servo and vertical connection right here. And so the neat thing is if you look, it's got like a ball joint on the end there that helps keep the friction low on it. So pretty cool on there. What you've got is you got your anti-K light. I've worked plenty of anti-collision lights on this airplane. The real one, you access it from the left side and you work on it. And usually when you work on it, things are not working right, so you get shocked by it and it's not fun. But then you got your marking light on the back end there. So beautiful job on there. Pencil light. The Thunderbirds actually have this silver, so we're going to have to adjust that. But looks pretty good. So pencil light. Don't know if you guys know what the pencil light is, but essentially what it does is it provides light across the back of the fuselage for aerial refueling. It kind of lights up things in the dark. So pencil light. So we're going to set this aside over here. All right, let's jump to the wings. Now, what I really, really like about Jetruler aircraft is that the wing itself, the only electrical connections you have to it are for your wingtip lights. You do not have servo connections at all in the wing. And so it is essentially just a flap that flutters. But inside the flap itself, you've got your channel right here that mates up against the fuselage. And I'll show you that. The servo is actually inside the fuselage. And so that's the same for the elevator too, or the horizontals, which is pretty cool. So a neat little innovative thing that they do. And I think they did this on older airplanes a long time ago, but it runs great on this airplane and it keeps it light on the wings. So that's what you like. Then you can make them nice and scale and whatnot. But so you got your two light connections. I have not pulled them out yet, but I will need a needle nose to get the other one out of there. But that'll power up both of your connections on there, and you can see that on the fuselage right there. But if you can't tell, look at how beautiful the bird is, and look at how beautiful the stars and bars are. Obviously, wings come in two, so we're just going to show you the other wing. Very nice. They are pinch type connection, which is a 3mm that goes up from the bottom of the wing, and that provides a nice sturdy connection. And we've ran the Green Aggressor version of this jet. We've ran it through the ringers, and that thing is solid. So we had to get a Thunderbird because of it too. All right, now we're going to talk about the horizontals. Okay, so you got your horizontals, absolutely beautiful also there. And again, like what I was talking about, is you've got your little slot groove that the servo runs in there and gives you torque strength, and then it also gives you a really good amount of travel on there too. So perfect for this airplane. And I almost forgot to mention, but these are actually a quick disconnect. And so on the back of the fuselage, which I'll show you, you press a button and the horizontals pop out. And so when you put these horizontals on, just as a word of caution, push them all the way in as far as they go and then slide them back until you hear them click. That's how you know that they are established and locked in. Okay, so pretty nice on there. Ventral fins. You got two beautiful ventral fins, all nice and, you know, Air Force blue with the white stripe. Pretty cool. Very beautiful. Now we get to the heavy duty portion. This is going to be a little bit harder to show you all this stuff, but you're going to want to see it all. So I'm going to grab a piece and then we're going to talk about it. And then we may need little dude to help me out with showing a little bit more of the internals with the camera. So he'll probably be moving a little bit jittery, but we all appreciate his help in doing this. So we'll do that. So I'm going to grab the front fuselage. All right. So here's the front fuselage. Absolutely beautiful. Now there's one thing they didn't do on here, and I'll talk to them, but you're going to want to buy the U.S. Air Force Thunderbird for this jet and replace it with this guy if you're going to have this jet, because it has the Scale True helmet like I wore for a moment inside this jet, just to give it that absolute perfect. And then the uniform needs to be blue. And so seeing this in person, we actually are able to talk to Jetruler and say, hey, look, you need to make the pilot blue and then the helmet white and red. So we'll see about that. So there's what it looks like. It looks like the cockpit is sitting inside it a little bit right now because of the shipping. I have not even opened it, even look at it. But you've got all this beautiful looking. You've got your tray inside and established. You got your wing connections, so you can take your cockpit on and off, so you can work on it. To install this is six holes. So you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And I will be straightforward with you. It is a pain in the butt to get these outer ones on. You're going to need a really, really long 3mm to be able to get those on. There was a lot of colorful language when we put our first one together. So you've been warned, but it's amazing when you get it there. So, all right, I'm going to set this down and open up the cockpit. To open the cockpit, you have to take off the pitot tube, which unscrews. We're going to take off the red, white, and blue nose cone. It's got a linkage rod to be able to pull it. It looks like it's got a safety point to push that rod through so that your cockpit doesn't accidentally disengage. And then you pull this back. How far back? How far back, Jeremy? I don't know. We're opening this up for the first time because they improved it since mine. All right, we're going to get this cockpit out. We're going to try to get this cockpit out. I think it fell in and then the front went in first, so we're going to probably have to push it down in there. Get the front out. Yep. And then all the way out. And so, yeah, absolutely beautiful. But so we're going to show you the cockpit real quick. Look at this detail on here. You've got over on this left side, you've got your landing gear panels, you got your MFDs. I mean, yellow and black egress handles like they should be. You know, you got all that fun jazz on there. But we're going to make that a Thunderbird pilot here in the end, because we actually have one. So you can buy them off of eBay. They're a collector's item. They were just a doll from way back when, but they are the most scale that you can get in there. So there's your cockpit. There's not any kind of actuator on there or anything, so it's just a handheld right now. But you've got your tray on the inside. Okay, so you can put everything in. You've got your landing gear controller on this side. Next up in the middle is your brake controller. And then on the far closest to me is your light controller. And again, if you have any questions on the setup of those, I've made a video on how to set up the landing gear, and I love this JP controller. Once you know how to work it, absolutely amazing. So There's that. So again, you'll have to bolt down your actual front frame on there, and you'll run your fuel line all the way up to the front here from your UAT. So, little hiccup there. Lock this down. It's kind of a neat little idea there. First time seeing that since we've had the airplane. All right. So I'm going to put this back over here, and we're going to grab the aft section. So this is going to be the one that we're going to have to finagle it a little bit, but it'll be worth it when we do. So what we're going to do is I'm going to pull the hatch off here. The hatch now from the original version was a single front one. Now it's got dual sides, so you got double protection, so this doesn't come off. What we've got inside is we've got your dual fuel tanks, your saddles here. You can, like I said, you can buy a smoke tank that'll go into this portion right here. On our 1/6, I actually converted that to fuel, but I want to let you guys know that I was landing with barely even tapping into this top or front fuel tank. So it's really not needed for that front fuel tank, but if you feel like you want to add anything in there, I would add it, just a little bit of weight and put something in there for smoke, especially with this Thunderbird. So we're going to try and get a smoke tank for there, and then what we'll do is we'll just shorten our time frame just a minute or two, just to make sure we don't ever tap into that fuel there. We're going to be using a smaller motor too, so we should have extra fuel anyway. As we look at the front here, all your wiring and your fuel line is bagged up just so that it doesn't have any kind of issues on there. You've got your humongous UAT. So these UATs have been just wonderful in all the Jetruler aircraft. Have not had a single issue on there. But I want to make sure you know that there is another nipple that you can change off the center here. And it should come in the bag. And what that'll do is that'll put it to a different size nipple if you need it. Okay, so you have that. But always just tighten up all your connections and make sure they're good to go. For your fuel tanks, you can undo them here and check that, but Jetruler is absolutely amazing with setting up fuel tanks. They actually understand how fuel tanks are supposed to be built, and they do a fantastic job on that. So if you cannot access a fuel tank for some reason to check that, you're more than likely, I would say 99% sure that you're going to end up having a good fuel line, pickup line, and vent line, and not have to worry about anything on there. So the top of the tanks there, they've got your vent lines already pre-installed. Super awesome on there. And then you got some really reliable landing gear on there. And so I have ran these type of landing gear since the very beginning. I think that I was one of the first people to have JP16 landing gear, because my top RC F-16 that I had just the worst landing gear ever. And so I got with JP, and good old Shane ended up hooking me up with some 1/6 gear really early in the whole process of them making that. And it's been a very, very good landing gear system on there, and been having a great time. The only thing that I really run out of is tires and brakes. Not tires, not brakes. I run out of tires. So the brakes work so well. If you have a heated landing, you can lock those suckers up and you will create flat spots. So that's how well these brakes work. Fantastic on there. As far as the fuselage, we're going to continue talking with the fuselage. Now, what you got here, like I was showing you, we're going to have little dude grab that camera again. He got a little zealous and walked away. Is these are your light connections for your wingtips. Okay. Here is your flapper on servo. Right over here is your elevator servo, okay? And then, like I was showing you, or telling you, you've got that quick connect, and I'm going to turn this airplane so you can see it, because I want to see the bird underneath it too. This is your quick connect to remove that, and what it does is it has a blade that goes on there, and it latches into that groove on there. And then you got your quick connects for your ventral, so you don't ever destroy them or break them. You've got 2 vents up there in the front, 1 for each saddle. Okay. You may need to put one in there for a vent if you're going to do smoke. Okay. So I would put it in the center there if you did. But you may not need any of that if you're not putting smoke in an airplane. And again, this airplane comes in several other schemes, so it's not just Thunderbirds that we're talking about. But look at that landing gear. B-E-A, beautiful. Look at that beautiful white look. And again, this is the first time opening up these doors, right? I have absolute confidence that everything looks amazing in there. We haven't even checked any of this. This is straight from the box. This is what you get from Jetruler. Absolutely beautiful, absolutely solid, works. Okay? And so there you go on there. Now I want to mention something to you all. I did say that this had vectoring in it. This is not a vectoring kit. Okay? The one that I got is not a vector. I just want you guys to know that. So good, I don't have to take that out. But if you wanted a vectoring jet, you can get this in vectoring. But I did not. And I'm glad I didn't, because I don't care to use vectoring. So it's just got a straight tube in the back here, and amazing. And then your vertical, we didn't mention the vertical, but you got your 3 connections here. And again, that's going to be, remember I talked about it, the anti-collision light on the top, your nav light on the tail, and then you've got your servo connection for the rudder on there. And so again, it's a pinch type setup on there, and that should be a pretty easy going assembly for this airplane. So if you're going to need any help with this, you can always contact us at bananahobby.com. But it's not too bad. You can get a little overwhelmed with setting things up, but the big thing is what I do is I always plan where everything's going to go, and then I slowly go one thing at a time and just make sure that it goes where I want it to go, and then I set it up. And then, like I said, go to Banana Hobby's website on YouTube, and I've got a how-to program, the JP controller for the landing gear, that should hopefully help you out, because it actually talks like it's an F-16. It talks about what each mode, what each systematic of lights or stage of lights equals, and what you're supposed to be seeing with each of those respective light codes that's going on. And so pretty easy on there. Remember, the airplane should be ran on a 2S power system on there. It's high voltage. Don't run servos on 3S. Your brakes are 2S. Your gear is 2S. And your lights. No matter what the light controller says on there, it says it can get up to 6S. Plug in only 2S into there. And so pretty easy on there. On one of our counterparts, John, ended up making some really good videos on those two. So check him out too. But I think the last thing that we're going to do is another fairly quick time lapse. I know I said hopefully no more, but I want to try and get a time lapse on this thing. I want to get the gear down. I want to get it quick assembled so you guys can see the mighty Thunderbird in its all glory together. And I say time lapse because these bolts right here are going to take me quite a minute to get them in. And we're laughing. Kyler's laughing behind me too. But it's going to take a minute to get those in, and just to get this fuselage together. And so time lapse is going to be appropriate for that to make it so it's not so long. But anyway, that being said, check it out. All right, guys. She is assembled, and I cannot get this grin off of my face. Absolutely an amazing airplane. And again, we'll talk about the specs here in just a little bit. One more time on there. But take a look at this jet. I mean, we're going to try and do a 360 on this thing. You guys all know what Thunderbirds are supposed to look like. Look at how pretty Boss's jet is here with the amazing Jetruler 1/6 F-16 in red, white, and blue. Absolutely beautiful. Amazing looking jet. I mean, you cannot beat that beautiful gloss scheme, in my opinion. One of the best looking F-16s out is the paint scheme on the U.S. Air Force Thunderbirds. Ask little dude, how does it look in this frame? Is it pretty good?
Yeah, you gotta move over.
You like that?
That's good.
All right, I'll turn it this way a little bit. We'll go back. We're going to try and show the back end of there. See if we can get this jet around without dumping it off the table. We're going to walk it all the way over here. Look at that back end. I think that's what you're going to get. And again, it comes with all the right lighting areas. You've got your wingtip lights, you've got your intake lights, you've got your anti-K, you got your logo lights, I mean, and landing gear lights. So, absolutely beautiful. Our little tablecloth that we have on here is definitely a little bit on the messed up side of things. What I'm going to do is, little dude and I, we're going to lift this airplane up a little bit just so you can see the belly. Remember, the vert is not screwed on, so grab onto the speed brakes. I'm going to take a look and make sure that it's going to look good in the screen. All right, so what we're going to do, little dude, is we're going to bring it backwards a little bit so the wingtip kind of goes down into here so we can show that belly, okay? You ready?
Yep.
All right, 1, 2, 3. Roll it. Look at that belly. The beautiful bird. Crisp lines. Let's bring it back. Absolutely a phenomenal airplane. I cannot wait to get this airplane in the air. And like I said, I've got a little bit of a thing for the Thunderbirds. The Thunderbirds actually came to me when I was working with the 34th Fighter Squadron out of Hill Air Force Base and offered and wanted me to join the team and do their 21 days of hell is what they called it. And Chief Thiel came and asked us. He wanted myself and a Sergeant Hizawi, what we called him Easy. Easy went on to do it. I could not because I had literally just had my daughter 2 weeks before, so that was in 2007. Pretty crazy, but yeah, I had my opportunity to join or try to join the team and work with Thunderbirds. But on another note, I did work on a Thunderbird. I learned it in tech school on the ECS program of the airplane that is actually at Hill Air Force Base, Utah, so we get to go and see the old bird here at the Hill Aerospace Museum in Ogden, Utah, which is pretty dang cool. I don't know what little dude is trying to get. I think it's in that drawer down there. Kind of tough, but anyway, we got a little bit of ties for the Thunderbirds, and it's pretty neat. So again, like I said, you guys will see a little bit more of this airplane as we fly it, show it off, and have a good time on there. Not too bad of an assembly. We can hopefully have this done in a couple of days, and we'll go from there. But again, real quick, we'll go back over specs in case everybody just missed it or jumped into it. We got about a 65-inch wingspan, so it's actually 64.5. Your length is 103 inches, so 102.44. 30 pounds dry weight, 160 to a 240. Like I said in my earlier thing, I do not recommend a 240 in this jet. I recommend no more than a 220. Pretty decent fuel tanks. You saw them on there. JP landing gear, painted white. I said thrust vectoring earlier. This one does not, but you have an option of thrust vectoring, and you got several great schemes, all available through bananahobby.com. And Jetruler, another home run on this airplane. Cannot wait to show it off for you guys. Cannot wait to show it off for Banana. And it's going to be pretty neat. So again, I'm Jeremy with Banana Hobby. This is the 1/6 F-16 Fighting Falcon Thunderbird. Pretty dang cool. Check us out at YouTube. Check us out on Instagram. And check us out at your local field. Thanks for watching.